नित्यानन्देश्वरसमारम्भां नित्यानन्देश्वरिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. I welcome all the devotees, disciples, Samajis, Satsangis, Shri Mahants, Mahants, Kotaris, Tanidars, owners of Sarvanyapita, visitors, viewers, Kashivashis, sitting with us in Varanasi, in Nityananda Sabha, through Nityananda TV, Sadhana TV, Ara TV, Nakshatra TV, and two-way video conferencing, having Nayana Diksha. City is sitting with us. Los Angeles Adinam, Toronto Adinam, Kuala Lumpur Adinam, Seattle Adinam, Ohio Adinam, Oklahoma Adinam, Guadalupe Adinam, Philadelphia, San Jose Adinam, Oman Adinam, Puduvai Adinam, Houston Adinam, Dakota Dunes, Morris Plains, New Jersey, Bangalore North, Hyderabad Guptakashi, Singapore Adinam, Rajabalayam Adinam, Ponca City, Oklahoma, and more cities are joining. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. I'll expand on the next verse of Isavasya Upanishad, the 15th verse. Please recite along with me. Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasyabihitam Mukham Tattvam Pushannapavrunu Satyadharmaya Drishtaye. Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasyabihitam Mukham Tattvam Pushannapavrunu Satyadharmaya Drishtaye. The translation goes, the truthful, effulgent, eternal being is the ultimate sustainer, nourisher, and protector of all that exists. You are the embodiment of the imperishable truth and reality. Your divine face of truth is concealed by the blinding, dazzling, and upturned part, which has golden orb of effulgence. This radiant golden part conceals your glorious face of truth from my view. O Pushan, O Sun, O complete one, do reveal yourself by removing that glaring veil, for I, on the path of truth, am eager to have your divine vision. Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Vihitam Mukham Tattvam Bhusham Apavrunu Satyadharmaya Drishtaye. Please understand, before entering into this verse and commenting on it, I wanted to set the context The key ideas, the key truths, sacred secrets, masters, the Upanishadic masters are trying to reveal through this Upanishad. Seeking. Understand? This whole verse describes necessity, power of seeking. Seeking is not what you call as religion or spirituality. Please listen. Much of your religion and spirituality is just business and bargain, gambling, give and take, negotiation in the silence. Sometimes vocally, sometimes locally, sometimes silently, but negotiation goes on, goes on, goes on. Sometimes with that rough stuff of heaven and hell, sometimes with the subtle stuff of love and hatred, sometimes the more subtle feeling connected or feeling rejected. But much of your religion and spirituality is business, bargain, negotiation, gambling. Seeking does not fall under any of this category. Seeking is your innermost coarse pain. By understanding it has not yet expressed its full potential, your innermost coarse suffocation, by understanding it needs to expand, your innermost being's decision to expand, decision to be free. Understand? I am defining seeking. Your innermost coarse decision to be free, your innermost coarse decision to be awakened, your innermost coarse decision not to continue with the status quo. Continuing with the status quo, with the fantasy, someday something will happen from heaven or from somewhere, from sky, something will drop and everything in my life will be aligned and proper. Sitting with this stupid, fallible fantasy. Understand? Infallible fantasy is vision. Fallible vision is fantasy. When you take the responsibility for your visualization, it is vision. When you don't take responsibility for your thinking, it is fantasy. Much of your inner happening is the game of fantasy, and unfortunately you make that into religion. Fantasy should be entertained maximum to the level of entertainment, not more than that. Don't make a religion out of it. That's not the stuff out of which you can make religion. Understand? This pillar made of fiberglass can be used as a decoration piece, but you can't make the building stand on it. The fiberglass pillar cannot hold the building. It can only be a decoration piece. If you try to make the building stand on it, you are in danger. You are wrong. It is so unfortunate. We go on cherishing fantasy. Listen. Cherishing fantasy and we also have one more fantasy to support our fantasy. Someday, from somewhere, something will fall and everything will become all right. That's what I call status quo living. Yesterday, I gave 3 technical terms: agitational gratification, delayed gratification, light theologians. These are the 3 important keywords you need to remember. Today, listen. Listen very clearly. The status quo living. Just go on postponing with the fantasy someday something will collapse, something will fall, and everything will become all right. See, the worst thing of living the status quo, after some time you even forget you can take decisions. Now I have seen people, I have really seen people for whole life, they are activists, means they get into the stage and give big lectures on cleaning the country, they even join the army which cleanses, which cleans the streets and schools, colleges. Finally, after some time, they learn only the art of mobilizing the huge gathering, huge volunteers, and doing something, doing a show. Slowly, they forget they themselves can do something. And I have seen this kind of people. The street in which they go for everyday morning walk is full of trash and dirt. Hardly it may take 10 minutes for them to clean that area, but they won't, because they forget they can do something. They always think they can only mobilize crowd, and that crowd only can do something. They can mobilize the mob, only that mob can do something. They forget they can do something. Understand, this example is very important. If you look into your life, many times you walk 3 kilometers to go and give lecture about cleanliness, but the house where you are staying or the street where you are walking, if you just bend and spend 10 minutes, that will become clean. You forget that it is possible, and you don't even keep that in your cognition. That is not there as part of you. Always the status quo life will be stinking life, where a simple reality which can be seen even by a child will be forgotten by you. Understand? In status quo life, you read, see, understand more from your brain than from the reality. Most of the time, the spelling mistakes you make while you read a newspaper or magazine or your iPod will be very funny, because you don't read from there, you read from here. You'll suddenly realize, oh God, second time, third time when you read, oh, this is what is there, but I thought this is what there. Even while you are seeing, you don't see here, you see from here. You don't see from here, you see from here. You don't read from here, you read from here. In the status quo life, you are almost caught in the cobweb of thinking, which is a very suffocating karma pattern, mental pattern, which does not let you relate with the reality. Seeking is the decision to melt you and reinvent you. Melt you and mold you as you want. I tell you, greatest blessing in the life is not even God's grace, but seeking for God's grace. I really tell you, it is not even enlightenment, seeking the enlightenment. Seeking, actually seeking is the time you can enjoy the glory of enlightenment, because after you become enlightened, you are that. What is there separately to enjoy? Seeking is the real honeymoon. Seeking is the real time and space where you can reinvent yourself, where you can melt, go on melting, 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 melting. An ordinary human being, from the birth to death, he goes on freezing, 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 freezing himself. His life is just a hormonal hijack from birth to death. He is just hijacked by his hormones, and by the time he wakes up, he is already landed in death. In the birth, he takes off. In few minutes, hormones put the knife on your throat and says, fly the plane as I say, where I want. And you are hijacked. When the hormones say, come on, land here, when you land, the land is death. It is just hormones hijacking you. So-called normal life is hormonal hijack. Rarely, when you fall in love with something or some person, you develop the ability to reinvent yourself, reorganize yourself, awaken yourself, and look into something fresh. But it is only during the seeking, when you fall in love with the highest possibility. I can say when you raise in love, not fall in love. Raise in love with the highest possibility. Only when the seeking starts, your bio-memory starts reinventing itself. Please understand, if you fall in love with something physical, you will just alter all your physique. You may start going to gym, reduce weight, change your haircut, change your hairstyle, change your dress, change your skin color. This whole India is suffering with this fair complexion. The unfair obsession with a fair complexion. No, really. Biggest psychiatric disorder India suffers is the unfair obsession with a fair complexion. Largest fairness cream market in the world. Do you know that? Still these stupid fellows are associating white and beauty. This is the only country where fairness and beauty is associated and English and intelligence is associated. You tell anything in few English words, people think you are intelligent. No, really. In India, get down anywhere and just say, I am suffering from fever, so whatever you read in the school, the leave letter, or the first essay you memorized in your school, you repeat that, people will tell, oh, some big babu has come to our place. The language and intelligence is associated. The fairness and beauty is associated. Unfair obsession this country having with the fairness. Funny. When you fall in love with something physical, you decide to change your physical appearance, your hairstyle. If you are from lower middle class, you change your hairstyle and dress. If you are from middle class, you change your hairstyle, dress and skin color. If you are from upper class, you change even the shape of your body through some surgery. When you fall in love with physical, you adjust, alter your physique. When you fall in love with something super conscious, you get the ability to change your very consciousness. Falling in love with the super consciousness and awakening your ability to reinvent, reorganize your very biomemory, your very core consciousness is what I call seeking. In whichever you feel connected, you try to adjust yourself to that. When you fall in love with something physical, you try to alter your physical appearance. Whether you buy or grab or steal or hook or crook, you get the ability to change. When you are in love with something physical, you change your physical appearance. When you fall in love with something super conscious, you awaken your biomemory, intelligence. You awaken your biomemory and intelligence to alter your very core consciousness, your very biomemory, your very being. The ability to reinvent your very biomemory, reorganize your very biomemory, reorganize, reinvent, rediscover your very biomemory is what I call seeking. When you start seeking the higher possibilities, your body gets rearranged, your mind gets reorganized, your intellect gets reinvented, your biomemory gets rejuvenated, your consciousness gets recognized. Recognizing. When you recognize yourself, naturally you will be recognized. When you recognize yourself, world will also recognize you, that is recognizing you. I tell you, seeking the higher possibilities, physical or mental or conscious, seeking the higher possibilities, seeking the highest possibility is the key truth, the sacred secret. This 15th verse of Isavasya Upanishad is trying to express. I'll read the 15th verse translation once more and then expand. Listen. The truthful, effulgent, eternal being is the ultimate sustainer, nourisher and protector of all that exists. You are the embodiment of the imperishable truth and reality. Your divine face of truth is concealed by the blinding, dazzling, upturned pot, which has golden orb of effulgence. This radiant golden pot conceals your glorious face of truth from my view, O Pushan, O Sun, O complete one. Do reveal yourself by removing that glaring veil, for I, on the path of truth, am eager to have your divine vision. Human being, when he started seeking, first thing he did, started looking up in the sky. He understood he has a possibility which is beyond his imagination. He understood he has to look up. He understood he needs to reach high. The first thing he did is look up. When he looked up, expecting to see the divine, all he saw was the sun, and he knows sun may be symbol, but beyond him is the truth. Understand? Hindus are natural worshippers, not just nature worshippers. Understand? We worshipped nature not with the limited understandings which other indigenous religions have about nature, the tribal religions have about nature. No. That is why I insist we are not just nature worshippers. We worshipped nature, but not just the nature. The force which is veiled by the nature, which is beyond the nature. You can see very clearly this Upanishadic verse saying, please, O sun, O Bhushan, O complete one, do reveal yourself by removing that glaring veil. See, the sun which you can see with your physical eyes is a glaring veil. We always know only the veil which is dark and which covers, which dulls. But Upanishad Rishis are so clear, even if it is glaring, they know it is a veil. The Upanishadic Rishis say, please remove this glaring veil. On the path of truth, I am eager to see, have your divine vision. Maybe this is the voice of the first seeker on the planet Earth. This is the emotion described by the first seeker on the planet Earth. Or this is the path traveled by the first seeker on the planet Earth. The first apex body of Hinduism, Ananda Akada, follows Isavasya Upanishad and worships sun as their guru. It's based on this verse. This is the oldest Upanishad. Ananda Akada is the oldest Pita, the spiritual seat. This is the oldest expression. This is the oldest expression. The truthful, effulgent, eternal being is the ultimate sustainer, nourisher, and protector of all that exists. You are the embodiment of imperishable truth and reality. Your divine face of truth is concealed by the blinding, dazzling, upturned part, Hiranmayena Patrena. Satyasya Abhihitam Mukham Tattvam Bhushanabhavrunu Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye. Seeking. How much ever I pour the words and decorate, seeking can never be beautified by any of the words I utter. It can never be glorified by any of the words I am trying to express. Only when you taste it, you know the power of it. When you taste it, you know the power of it. I tell you, I'll give you some example. When you are a teenager, when your mom asks to buy vegetables or milk or some groceries from the shop, you won't walk even up to the corner of your street. But when you fall in love, especially that puppy love, to have a glimpse of your girlfriend, you will be ready to walk 5 kilometers. To have a glimpse of your boyfriend, you will be ready to walk 5 kilometers. When your mom says just buy the vegetables, milk or grocery, you can't walk 5 house, the street corner. But when you fall in love, 5 kilometer distance looks nothing. Understand, when you fall in love, the capacity to reinvent yourself is awakened in you. Same way, when you fall in seeking, the capacity to reinvent your very core consciousness gets awakened in you. If your teacher says, hey, wake up in the early morning, at least 7 o'clock and start studying for examination, you won't do. But when you fall into seeking, early morning 3 o'clock you will be up and alive, reading Upanishads, doing yoga, meditating. I tell you, what puppy love can do to you, seeking can do the same thing to your consciousness, not just to your body mind. In puppy love, the energy you radiate in your body mind, you will radiate tons of it in your very core consciousness in seeking. When the seeking was awakened in you, even you will be surprised. When the seeking gets awakened in you, even you will be surprised about you. I tell you, when the seeking was awakened in me, even I was surprised about my capacities, about what I am doing. Your very understanding about you will become different when the seeking is awakened in you. You become so serene, so graceful, so alive, so light, ready to take off. You are no more a hard stone. You just become one with the thin air, ready to go higher, higher, higher and higher. Seeking makes you light and light. L-I-T-E, light, L-I-G-H-T, light. Actually, when I am going to work with you on your bioenergy in Nityanandoham 1008, the first thing I am going to do is awaken your seeking. If you have to make a pot out of clay, first thing you have to do, pour water and make it soft. Only then it will stand as you want. Then you can bake it. To make the shape stable. So the first thing, the water I need to pour into you is seeking. Then making the pot is the whole process. Baking is energization. First step in the whole Nityanandoham process is pouring my seeking into you. Awakening the seeking into you. Just to experience seeking, come to Nityanando. Just to experience seeking. What happens next, everything is bonus. If you taste seeking, that's enough. You got it. You got it. You really got it. In seeking, you just see, and you can do anything available, possible for human beings. It is like you can take out your kidney and wash it and put it back, take out the intestine and clean it and put it back, take out the heart and pump little energy into it and put it back. If you can do that, how easy it will be for you to maintain your health. Exactly, you get that capacity. Relating to your consciousness in seeking. You just know which part need to be corrected, completed, cleansed, altered, and awaken it. Seeking awakens that potential in you. Not just cleansing your liver or kidney or intestine, but the source energy of your liver, kidney, intestine. Seeking just intoxicates you with the ultimate truth. Then nothing else is needed. When you are intoxicated with the ultimate truth, nothing else is needed. Life in its fullest form is experienced. The moment seeking starts, you wake up to cosmos. How every day morning you wake up to this world. Same way when the seeking starts, you wake up to the cosmos, the higher energies. I don't know what else to add. Go on adding. It is the spirit of seeking. Keeps the highest possibilities available to human beings. The spirit of seeking is much more than enlightenment itself. It's much more than anything which can be said and which can't be said. Only word I can add, Nityanandoham chalo. To experience seeking. Nityanandoham chalo. I bless you all. Let you all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Advaita, the eternal bliss. Nityananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
Nityananda Dhyanapitham, Nityananda Nagar, off Mysore Road, Bidadi, Bengaluru. Phone 08027279999. www.nityananda.org, www.youtube.com/lifeblissfoundation.